You ever have one of those moments where your whole life just cracks? Like, one minute you're lying in a hospital bed, doped up on antibiotics, thinking the worst part of your week is having to pee into a plastic jug, and the next minute, you're realizing your husband has been playing house with another woman while you're hooked up to machines. Yeah. That was me. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it changed everything. By the way, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? I love seeing where all of you are tuning in from. Okay, buckle up. Because this story? It's wild. So let's rewind a little. I'm 38, married to my husband Damon for 10 years. We met at work, he was in sales, I was in marketing. It was one of those office romances that everyone gossips about but pretends not to care about. He had this boyish grin and a voice that could talk anyone into anything. I should have known then. In public, we were goals. Travel pics. Dinner parties. Anniversary Instagram posts with captions like, "Can't believe I get to love you forever." You know the ones. Ugh. But behind closed doors? Things hadn't been the same for a while. He was distant, distracted. Quick to anger over dumb stuff, like how I loaded the dishwasher or forgot to buy oat milk. Real important things, obviously. Still, I thought we were just going through a rough patch. Every marriage has them, right? Anyway. A couple months ago, I started feeling awful. Chills, fever, stabbing pain in my lower back. I thought maybe I'd pulled a muscle at first, but when I couldn't even sit up without crying, I knew something was wrong. Turns out, I had a severe kidney infection. I was admitted for a 4-day stay, hooked up to fluids and antibiotics, and told to rest. Damon showed up with snacks and my favorite blanket and acted super sweet, for like, the first few hours. But then he started disappearing. Like, he'd show up late, say work was crazy, and take calls constantly. I couldn't even get through a sentence without him checking his phone. He even snapped at me once for asking if he could bring me my laptop charger. Said I wasn't being grateful. I should have known. On my second night in the hospital, something weird happened. I woke up around 3 a.m. to voices outside the curtain. 2 nurses were whispering near the nurses' station. One of them said, "Is that the same Damon who was here with that other woman yesterday?" The other nurse kind of laughed and whispered, "I think so." Redhead, tight dress. They were definitely more than friends. I just froze. I didn't even breathe. I laid there staring at the ceiling tiles, my whole body tense. My first thought was, maybe they're talking about someone else. Then my stomach turned. Damon had a type. Redheads were it. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next day, I watched him like a hawk. He came in, kissed my forehead like nothing was wrong, scrolled his phone the whole time, and told me he'd be back later with dinner. I asked him, "Who you texting?" He blinked. "Work." I said, "At 8:22 in the morning?" He smiled, cool as ever, and said, "Client stuff." Big pitch. I nodded. But inside, I felt myself cracking. So when he left, I asked one of the nurses, this sweet older lady named Karen, if she could check the visitor log from the day before. She hesitated, said she wasn't supposed to. But after I explained I had a feeling my husband wasn't just visiting me, she gave me this sad little look and said, "Let me see what I can find." A few minutes later, she slipped me a post-it note. 2 names had signed in under his last name. Damon Wright. And Kayla Monroe. Now listen. I've watched enough true crime and reality TV to know, when a random woman's name shows up next to your husband's on a hospital visitor log, it's not because they're organizing a bake sale. So I did what any self-respecting woman would do, I stole his phone. While he was in the bathroom during his next visit, I grabbed it off the chair. His passcode? Still our wedding date. You'd think a cheating husband would be more careful. I opened his texts and there it was. Kayla Red Heart. Their thread was full of little I miss yous, kissy emojis, and straight-up lies. I hate seeing her like that. I wish it was just us already. I'll sneak back tonight when the nurses change shifts. I was sick. I screenshotted everything. Sent it to myself. Even got a voice memo he'd left her, where he whispered, "I can't do this much longer. I'm dying pretending with her." Pretending. The woman who ran your household, made your damn dentist appointments, and held your hand through your career changes, and now I'm just a role to pretend through? I wanted to scream. But I didn't. Not yet. I waited. When I got discharged, I went home and went full detective. I found Kayla Monroe's Instagram in less than 10 minutes. Pilates instructor. Red hair. Tons of selfies with captions like, "Catch flights, not feelings." Yeah, okay. But here's the kicker, she had a fiancé. Some dude named Colin. A business consultant. And guess what? His father was one of Damon's biggest clients. I couldn't make this stuff up. I'd met Kayla. Told her I was Damon's wife. Asked if she knew. She said, "Excuse me?" I sent screenshots. Voice messages. Hospital logs. She went silent for hours. Then replied, "He told me you were separated and that you had mental health issues." Classic. I asked her if she wanted to meet. Said I wasn't mad at her, but she should see the kind of man she was dealing with. And that's when I got the idea. We had a wine night coming up, monthly thing with close friends. I told Damon I wanted to still host it, try to feel normal again. He bought it. I invited Kayla. Told her to wear red. The night comes. Candles lit. Cheese board arranged. Wine chilled. Damon's laughing with our friends when she walks in. In a tight red dress. He goes white as a sheet. People were stunned. I stood up and said, "Everyone, this is Kayla. Damon's girlfriend. She came to meet the wife." Dead silence. He tried to deny it. Said I was overreacting, misunderstanding, and off my meds. Oh yes, he really tried that card. Until I played the voice memo. I had it on my phone, connected to the speaker. His voice echoed through the room, "I wish it was just us already." Kayla slapped him. I threw a glass of Merlot at his feet. He stormed out. The next day, I packed his things. Changed the locks. Filed for divorce. He begged. Apologized. Said he wasn't thinking straight. Claimed she meant nothing. But I was done. And karma? She showed up fast. Kayla told her fiancé. Damon lost the client. His reputation took a nosedive. And I got a settlement and peace of mind. The best part? I ended up dating the nurse who took care of me in the hospital. Yep. Real talk. He's sweet, grounded, and actually listens when I speak. So, what would you have done? Be honest, would you have gone as far as I did? Or maybe even farther? Let me know in the comments. I need to hear what y'all think.